Okay, so everyone, welcome back to Breslov Efrat, Baruch Hashem, here at Shira David. And today, mitzvah Hashem, with HaKadosh Baruch Hu's help, we're going to continue our lesson in Likutey Halachos, of course, but we're going to continue also Sfaratem Lachem, our Sefira project. All right? So we left off on day 18, all right, which was Hayom Shmeina Asa Hayom Shem Shnei Shuos V'Arba Yom Laim, and that was the day of Netzach Shebetferes. It's a very special day. Netzach, Tferes, and how do they're actually, Netzach b'menatzeach means to be victorious, to conquer. Tferes means splendor. It's an interesting combination, right? It's very interesting. Let's see what Rav Frisch says today. Yitein Adam Alibay. Now Rav Frisch changes it again because it's Netzach, so he says Yitein Adam Alibay. Why he puts it in at Libay? Ki litzarech heyoisei masik. It's Rachmav Shel HaBayis Baruch. If you want to attain and you want to really feel the Rachmanis of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you want to recognize how Hashem really has Rachmanis on us. Sometimes it's very hard, right? Because we see things going on and we don't really understand and we can't appreciate really what Hashem is doing. But sometimes we have to really think deeply in our hearts what is going on, and really, where is Hashem's Rachmanis in this situation? Umalas tifartay hamiskala b'Torah shebiksav. Okay, v'yesh le'lishtadel netzeches yitzray, and the maila of the Tferes, the glory that's revealed in the Torah, and how do we have to always be menatzeach on a yitzray? That's really our job. We have to be menatzeach. We have to conquer our Yetzer Hara. That's the battle that we're here for. And sometimes we see that we were matzliach. We were successful in our battle with the Yetzer Hara. What? Sheina matzliach. Sorry. No, because he has another. No. Okay. No. Because there's another way also. I was thinking of something else. I'm sorry. No. Because sometimes a person, you could say it that way also. Sometimes a person thinks that he was successful, but then to remember that the Yetzer is still there, and he's just regrouping. He's just regrouping. But here now, okay. So he's saying she'eina matzliach. If a person's not matzliach in fighting Yetzer, in other words, he's trying, but he falls. Im kol zeh lo yanuach es ishtadlus. You shouldn't let go. If you're making your ishtadlus, you should always put your ishtadlus and keep trying. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu appreciates our effort. All the effort we put in, it's so dear to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And again, when an army is fighting a war, right? So sometimes there will be battles that they lose. They lose small battles but their goal is the war. They want to win the war. So even though they may lose a battle here and there, right, which is what we discussed, right? Sometimes you lose that battle, but to know I still want to win the war, and that's it's such an amazing idea to try to realize that. In other words, even though because the Yetzer Hara tries to get us sometimes confused when we're in that little, he caught us. And then we think, oh, wait a second, I'm no good now, and I'm no this and that. No, wait a second, no, you're. This is a long-term war here. So you lost this one, okay? Start over again, and you can start again. That's what we keep learning from Reb Noson. Sharei Broisa Melech es Avdoi Mishtadel Lasei Sitzvitzayin. Because when a king sees that his servant is trying to serve him. The king sees that he's trying, he's working, he's putting in his effort. Bivada Yerachem Olav, so of course he'll have Rachmanis on that person because he's trying, even though he may not be successful in what he's doing, but he's trying. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows all the effort we put in. In other words, if we try to fight against the Yetzer Hara, we're trying. So that's so precious to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that even we're trying. You see, we think in life, it's only if we have a success. If we have a success, so then we were victorious. But really, when it comes with our Avodas Hashem, even if we didn't win, but we tried, sometimes that's even more precious. Sometimes it's even more precious to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that we tried, even though we realized we weren't going to win, but we pushed, we tried. It's an amazing concept, right? To me, just to think these things through. Yeah, say something else, please, Ellie.
I remember one time my mother was pounding hard on me, and she said, you're just not living up to your potential. You could be, like, if you just tried, right? You could be like, why don't you try? And I said to her, well, if I try and I fail, then I know I'm a failure. And like, I don't want to try. And she didn't have an answer at the time, but now I understand better. Right? It's not the winning, right?
It's not the win.
It's
exactly.
It's getting up.
It's trying. And that's, I think, what your mother, she was trying to tell you that. They says, go for it. Go for it. You may not win today, but you're going to win. You will be successful.
My father always said, if first you don't succeed,
Try
again.
Keep trying.
Yeah, but we never really understood what he was saying.
But this is why these are the deepest lessons, I think, of what you're saying, Eli, right? I mean, mamish, the deepest idea, that we just to remember that we can always just keep going at it.
Get up.
Because he brings from Masech the Brachas over here that the idea, if someone doesn't have any das, it's also to have Rachmanis on the person. What does that mean? What is he talking about there? If a person is going down the wrong path, and how do you have Rachmanis on him? If you see as a drunken, what do? Do you give him another bottle? Is that helping him? Is that going to help the guy?
What's Rahmanas?
Mercy, compassion.
Okay.
Right? You have compassion, right? So you see a guy, he's a drug addict, so what do you give him money to go buy more drugs? Is that having Rachmanis on him?
No, you look at his light and...
Right, in other words, you have to, so the Gemara says you can't have this, someone doesn't have they don't have any daya. Right, they're going down, okay. V'chein ein hamelech megala chachmasai b'libay shel adam shenochash shoichem bay. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't, this is fascinating, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't give the chachma to someone who allows the snake, the nachash, the Yetzer Hara, to dwell within inside of him, comfortably. Comfortably. In other words, he allows him to gain. So the king says, I can't give you my wisdom because it's going to get polluted. It's going to get defiled. I'm not giving you the chachma. A person doesn't dwell with the nachash bent over achas, with together. In other words, you have to, like we said before, that's what I was thinking about, because last time when we were talking about Netzach Shebegvura, we were talking about you have to constantly, just remember that don't let the Yetzer Hara in even a little bit, because if you let him in a little bit, then he's going to take over. You have to know, you put him aside. You stay here, and I'll watch you. Right? The Yetzer Hara, you put him aside, and you watch what he's doing. Don't go and get involved with him. Right? Okay, ma she'ein kain b'yosei mishtadel l'ratzeich liyitzroi u'moicha b'y harei she'soifoi she'yikayim b'y. So if a person's trying to put down his Yetzer Hara and he's really working, in the end he will be successful. He's just got to keep trying. But we will be successful. And I think, Eli, that's what you were saying, what your mother was saying, and David, everyone, I think that's the message, right? Just keep trying. You will be successful in the end. Oh, wow. Right, so here you can understand the Rachmanis of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that even if you're not going to be successful at what you're doing, but He has Rachmanis and He's going to keep helping you, even though it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense in the realm of Teva. Right? Because we all grew up understanding that, if you're successful, you're successful. If you're not, you're a lo yutzlach, right? Right? It's a lo yutzlach. Right? But that's really not true. The person may be a lo yutzlach in this case today, but he is matzliach. And we will be matzliach.
Matzliach.
It's successful. We will be victorious. Then we'll be able to be menatzeach on Yetzer Hara. And if you know this concept, right? If you know this concept that even though you may not be successful and you may lose once in a while, but just keep trying, and that trying itself is so precious, and that's how you can recognize the Rachmanis of Hashem. That even though you may fail once in a while, but you're constantly trying, and you're not bent in, you're not together with the Yetzer Hara. You separate him. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu will let the Chachman, and that's an amazing idea to understand the Netzach and the Tferes. Tferes is saying yes.
Yeah, meaning the Netzach, I understand what you're saying is is trying.
Keep
That's
trying.
when you keep trying.
Keep trying.
That's keep. I mean, I always think Netzach is winning. You're saying the winning is to keep trying.
Keep trying,
And you're
because it's a
saying-
war. It's a war. It's not a
war.
battle. It's a
Right,
war.
Right, that's the Netzach. That's what you're, okay, good. And when you keep trying, it turns out it's a real beautiful thing. It's a real splendor.
You're seeing the Rahmanis, you're recognizing the Rahmanis from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the splendor that Hashem is so nice to me and gives me that opportunity to keep failing to become successful. He doesn't throw me out right away.
That's the Tiferet.
That's amazing, no?
Yeah.
And knows that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will have patience with us, right? He has patience with us till we can be successful. He doesn't expect us to do it right away. And I think, with our children and with family, we have to realize that also, right?
Sure.
It's a long, people make mistakes. But just to remember that really with everyone that's trying, and that's what he's trying to say, it's not that the person doesn't have to die. Someone that's trying, that's an amazing thing. That's the most amazing thing. And that's all HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us for us to try. So I think that's a beautiful idea for Netzach Shebetferes. So now let's go back now. Now we'll move on. Here. Here. And then the Kinyan Torah of Netzach, it was on the 48 Kinyanim of Torah, B'miyat Schoik V'sicha. In other words, lower down a little bit the jokes and the Mabakach conversations, those silly conversations. Lower it down. Spend more time thinking about what's really important and service of Hashem. Use the words more for words of Tehillim and things like that. Talking to the Rebbi Nachman. Okay, b'miyat schoik, jokes and laughter, because then that takes the person out of the realm. But again, not to say that you can't tell a joke. It doesn't say that, right? If you want to tell a joke to get yourself into simcha, that's okay. But otherwise, do it in the right way. Okay, now then we have then we did day 19, which is the midah of Hayt Shebetferes. Wow, beautiful day. So he says, "Yiten ha'adam eli b'ha'ikil tzarich kiyem shleimusay b'tifartei shecholenu ha'bayri yizbarach." If a person wants to be mashlim and have a completeness in his tferes, in the midah of tferes, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu bestowed upon, using the things that HaKadosh Baruch Hu bestows upon, yesh lei l'haydais lei, is always to thank Hashem. Thank you, Hashem. Give praise to Hashem. That's another thing that sometimes we don't realize. We're just constantly focused on asking Hashem for what we need. Right? Hashem, I need this, I need that, I need this and that. But what about thank you for what I have? Right? As people have problems with their parnasa, they have to pay their mortgage. Wait a second. Thank you, Hashem, for giving me my apartment, for giving me my house. Now, Hashem, please, I need help paying for the house. Right? Just to start off with thanking the Rebbeinu Shalom before we start asking for all the things that we need. Say thank you.
Thank you. Absolutely.
You see that? And then the person can be masig and have kiyam for the matanis that the Kodesh Baruch gives him. Sharei ba'idosei megala who es datei she'enai machzik toiva la'atzmai. Now, as you give the taiva back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you don't take the taiva to yourself. I'm so smart, I'm so crafty, No. You realize, why are you so smart? Where did you get it from? Where did you get it from? Did you fill out, a form before you were born and you said, I want this and this and that and that? How'd you get it? HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave it to us. So everything we have is that gift from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And remember, don't take the type of yourself. Ki Hashem is Baruch Hu levada yanoisin leikoich la'aseh choil. Because it's only HaKadosh Baruch Hu that gives you the ability to accomplish what you have, what you're able to do. You want to say something, Eli?
No, I was just thinking, it says
Louder.
sorry. It says, Megala Shehuda She'enu, sorry. It says,
Yeah.
if I take it to myself and I think that I'm the source of whatever I do, I also make it finite.
Yeah.
You make it what?
Finite.
Because
Finite.
it's only what I brought to the table, right? And I don't really bring anything to the table. And I realize that everything that's just flowing through, then that goodness is absolutely
Beautiful.
infinite. I don't miss it. Like, it never goes away. It's always there. I'm giving it a kiyum. you know, I give it a kiyum. I realize that it has a kiyum.
Kiyum? What's a kiyum?
A kiyum
Kiyum has an existence.
It has a reality. It gives it a basis. It's not just based on my little whatever I came up with.
Right.
So to add to that, it's like we have running water. We don't have to walk to a well. We have a microwave oven. We have a refrigerator to keep ice and fresh food. We can walk to a grocery store. I mean, I started opening up all these things. It's like we take all this for granted. We're sitting at this table inside a building and keeping the mezig avir comfortable for us.
Yeah.
It's endless.
The air conditioning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. Wow.
It's crazy. And we've just taken it for granted for so long.
ומזה יבוא גם להשתמש בשלימוסי לעשות את רצונו של הבורא יתברך. And then the person will be משתמש. He'll be able to use. He'll be able to benefit by the shleimus of the ratzon of Hashem. And nimsa mashlam es midas teferes ayde midas hoid. So in other words, you have whatever beautiful things, and you're always thanking and praising Hashem, so you can be mashlam the midah of teferes through the midah of all, because you're always thanking Hashem for all those beautiful things that you have and anything that you have. It's a beautiful idea, always to say thank you to Hashem. Thanks, Hashem. Thank you to Hashem all the time.
I thanked him for the
Haidul
clothes
Hashem,
washing
Kitav,
machine.
Kili
this
Alam
morning.
Chazdai. What?
I thanked him for the washing machine.
Oh, see that? Could
I
you
mean-
imagine with the scrubbing board, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Wow. Do they still make those things anymore, those scrubbing boards?
And I just saw Reb Shlomo. I literally, we were together for this. A button fell off of his coat,
Yeah,
and he was holding the button.
yeah.
So I said to him, even for a button, you have to daven. You have to
Yeah.
say thank you. You have
Yeah.
to pray for that.
Yeah.
And that's the story.
No, it's a beautiful thing, right? Even my what to hold you. It's cold, and you can close your coat with the button, because then you can put your hands in your pockets, right? When it's cold, right? That button is beautiful, right?
Right.
No, but to appreciate those little things that we have, it's nice, right?
Yeah.
Even though we have a button, a zipper, right? Well, these amazing
it gives
things.
you perspective.
Just to think, just to constantly think and thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's how we can be mashlim, the whole idea of the hide of the Tveres. And that's an amazing, just really to always say thank you to Rabbi Shalom. Okay, so again, there's so many things to learn about it, but again, we this is not the main. Okay, so here we go. Kinyan Torah today on day 19 is B'miyut derech eretz b'derech eretz. B'miyut derech eretz b'derech eretz. How do you like that one? That's a cute one, right?
What does that mean?
So you should lower your derech eretz using derech eretz. Using derech eretz, right? You know what that? You understand? Do we understand what that means?
Well, you're going in a direction and you may get off, and so you have to keep.
No. The derech eretz means like we say derech eretz kodma latayr, right? Right, derech eretz, right? Right, derech eretz kodma. You have to be a mensch. You have to be a good person. Derech eretz kodma latayr, right? Because if you're not a good person, you're not going to. So now you have to be memiyot derech eretz, bid derech eretz. In other words, don't do it. Don't be nice. Don't be nice because you think it's nice to be nice. Because the world said, and I have to be a good person. I'm doing it bid derech eretz. I'm doing it because the Torah commands me to do that. No, it's to take away the derech eretz of that we thought that I was doing things, right? Like a person gives tzedakah, right? You see a person's a poor person, right? So you can give, so a person, he'll give tzedakah, right? Because he sees the person's poor. But where's it? Stop for a second. The Torah says it's a mitzvah to give tzedakah. I may feel compelled to give this person tzedakah now, because I'm a human being and I feel compassion for this person that he doesn't have what he needs, right? This person doesn't have what they need. But why am I doing it? Am I doing this because it's a mitzvah, or am I doing it for myself? Right? I'm doing this because it's a mitzvah. right? Because if I do it for it's a mitzvah, then I'm accomplishing. So not to say chatzam, a person gives tzedakah and he doesn't think he's still doing a mitzvah. But again, how are you doing that mitzvah? You could be doing it on a much greater level. Because you can get a much bigger bang for your shekel, for your dollar, whatever currency you're giving out for the thing, right? You can get a bigger bang for it by doing it and recognizing it's the mitzvah. So that was the way I understand it. Does anyone have a different understanding of that? Ellie, do you have a different understanding?
I'm not sure. Derech Eretz is used to mean lots of different things.
Yeah, sure.
But let's say it's civility, right? Today we live in an age of political correctness and so on and so forth. And so the civility should come, when you limit it, right? Right? You have to do it also with Derech Eretz, right? There's as you said, know where the source of expanding and limiting comes from.
That's it. That's it.
Rebbi? Don't they say, isn't it said schar mitzvah?
Yeah.
So if you're not doing it for the mitzvah, you don't get the schar.
No, okay, no. That's the davening to Hashem schar mitzvah. There was a person is doing right. If you're doing the mitzvah, you're doing it l'shma. You're doing it with a simcha. So the person's not thinking about his olam haba. So he wants schar mitzvah. Give me another mitzvah to do, Hashem.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, but that's a thing. No, but again, that's a thinking person. That's a person using his derech eretz. That's a person using the derech eretz, right? He's applying it, right? Okay.
So we talk about giving to a poor person. Where does an organization fit into that? Like, I don't know, Hadassah or any other organization that is not really necessarily feeding the poor.
Well, but they're taking care of they're taking care of people. It's the same idea. Right? What are they doing? Someone's sick, they don't have money, they'll take care of the person. They're not going to send somebody away.
You can't do everything direct. You can't always give direct charity. Sometimes
Yeah, I
you have to work
understand.
through agencies.
Right, you work through it, right?
An agent. Yes.
Right, or you're giving money to Talmud Torah, or you're giving money to whatever it is. It is to recognize I'm doing this for the sake of a mitzvah, and that's an amazing idea. Okay, that's one. Okay, now today's day is Hayoim Esrei Yom Shehem Shnei Shavuos V'Shisha Yomim Lomer, and anyone that's listening to this, and it's during the day still wherever you are, so you can still count saying it that way, and that's the midah of Yesod Shebetveres. Yesod Shebetveres. So beautiful, so deep. Okay, there's a lot on this one here, and let's spend just a couple of minutes, okay, on it. If a person wants to have a kiyam to his shleimus, his completeness, he wants to put in existence to being complete. That the Kadosh Baruch Hu bestowed upon him. A person has wealth or he has chachmas haTorah, right? He's successful. He's a wealthy person. So this person has to put upon himself more kedusha, more holiness. Again, most people think the more money they have, the more they can just relax and take it easy, right? But no, as we're saying here now, if you have something, so realize that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave it to you, so you have to come with a little bit more kedusha, increase the kedusha. Not the way the Yetzer Hara tells you, okay, now go and have a party and go enjoy, right? So kedusha, of course, is the midah of Yesod, kedusha sabris, right? This is what the whole idea of Yesod is, okay? And then we're going to move on to Beis, because Beis is very, very beautiful. It's a little long, but it's okay. That a person should give to his heart, that even if he merited to have the tferes, he merited this. We may think that we have a completeness, but it's not really complete. In other words, whatever completeness I feel I have, like Rebbi Nachman says, the tachlis yadiyah shalei neda. I have to know that I don't know, and I have to know that I'm not, and I can always do better. and I can always make things better. It was like right? In other words, we shouldn't be happy with where we are ever. We have to always know we have to keep getting better and better. Right? A yid is like a candle, right? A candle is always jumping up and down. Right? Why is an neshama compared to a candle? Because a candle never stays still. A candle's always jumping, right? It goes up and down. Sometimes you see it more than others, but a candle is never staying still. It never stays still. That's an neshama. And we have to realize that. And we're doing things, we have to be in touch with that. So we have to always work to be mashlim, and to know that the be'emes, I'm not there. Ad sheyachos b'mitzvah achas b'kol chaychay. Until a person could grab on to one mitzvah with all his kayach. He takes on a mitzvah with all his kayach. He puts all his all into whatever that one of the 613 mitzvahs are. It doesn't make a difference which mitzvah it is. But he puts his full effort into that, ba'oifin keva, and he's always, this is his mitzvah, and he puts his full effort into it. Whenever he does this mitzvah, he does it to the best way he could possibly do it. And look what he says now. There's a note on the bottom of the Oris. I want to just read this Ori here. He says, "Shirishli Yisrael Zeh Mevaya Bezayir." He tells you where it is. Okay, Kadban Nash Ovad Pekuda Chada V'Lo Yeser. There could be a person that does one mitzvah. That doesn't mean he doesn't do other mitzvahs, but he does one mitzvah and he takes on this mitzvah. This is his mitzvah that he does with completeness. Right? Everyone has a mitzvah that's very near and dear to them. Everyone has a different mitzvah, right? Right? We agree on that, right? Every person has their own mitzvah that they feel that this is my mitzvah and I'm going to do this to the best of my ability. And that's a very important thing. Why? If a person does one mitzvah and none other, I'm going to say none other with that same completeness. Okay? None other with that same completeness that he did that one mitzvah. Okay? He does it with the right amount of fear and love of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He puts into the mitzvah the right amount of fear and love to do that mitzvah b'dechilu rechimu to serve Hashem. Elish oisa beyiras b'havas HaKadosh Baruch Hu begina shrayin alei eses sfirin. B'shvila, so he says now here, B'shvila shoyrin all of eses sfiras. So upon him, because of this, he gets the 10 spheres. Kiloimer, who mekabel shefa kedusha derech hamalchus mikol eses spheres. Malchus is the lowest one, right? We always say that, right? It starts from the top, and Malchus is the lowest one, but it encompasses all the other spheres. Malchus is the lowest, but it also encompasses all of the ones above it. Okay, now he says, "V'chol mi shemekayim mitzvah achas keroyu ki'ilu mekayim ramach b'kudin da'aseh." If a person does one mitzvah, you take on one mitzvah and you do that, it's as if you did all the 248 mitzvahs, the 248 positive commandments. Why? Because each mitzvah is inclusive of all other mitzvahs. One mitzvah is inclusive, has all the other mitzvahs in it.
Like a fractal.
Yeah, right? Don't think that one mitzvah is disjointed from another mitzvah. And that's what Reb Noson teaches us in Likutey Halachos. How each mitzvah is really intertwined with every other mitzvah. You understand, Dov? You want to say something?
Sure. Just go home and be super nice to your wife today, and you really paved the way for yourself.
Okay.
But on this, we also connect with the rest of Am Yisrael.
Sure.
Your mitzvah is it. My mitzvah.
B'shem kol
I'm
Yisrael.
doing this.
B'shem kol
We're all
Yisrael.
in on
You do the
this
mitzvah b'shem kol Yisrael.
Yeah.
Right? Your mom is connecting yourself to everything because but again, when you do this mitzvah the right way, right? You take on that mitzvah and you really think about it and you really put your full effort into it.
Hashem, the name of God. You do it.
Yeah. Next of like Ki'ilu Haya Mikayim Kol Ramach Mitzvah Saseh. Look at that. It's fascinating, right? What do you think? As if you mamish, you accomplish all 248. That's why he says, if you only do one, if you only did one, but one is really all. It's fascinating. It's a fascinating idea. The less pikuda, the lav iu kalula mikulu rama, because there's no mitzvah that's not all inclusive of all the other mitzvahs. They're all intertwined. Every mitzvah is intertwined with every other mitzvah. Okay, so I mean, there's so much more on that, but just to realize what we're saying over here, I don't want to take too much more time because everyone has to do it. It's Yom Ha'atzmaut today, so everyone has a lot of things to do. Baruch Hashem. Okay, but really to understand the idea of the Yesod, what we're trying to say over here, Yesod Shebetveres, is you have to put more holiness, exert more holiness into your service of Hashem. Not to think because everything is going well, like David, you always say, David, you say to Hashem, thank you. How come this is going so well for me? Hashem, we always complain, when everything is not going so well, right? But David always says, right, you say that, right?
Yeah, why does this happen?
Why me?
We don't do that. We just don't do that.
Why me? Why is this happening to me? Why is this good thing happening to me?
You shouldn't say that.
You what?
You shouldn't say that.
You should say it.
No, you can thank Hashem.
Then bad things start to happen.
No. If you're doing it sincerely, that's superstition.
But then you're not feeling worthy.
Like if you say, I've never been in the hospital, I never broke a leg. Sure enough.
No.
Thank you, Hashem.
No. You could say, thank you, Hashem, that I never, that I didn't have to be in the hospital.
Say thank you for my health or whatever it is.
Absolutely.
No, what I do is because when I go back to the States and because I work, so sometimes I have meetings in different hospitals, because we work there, some of our clients, whatever. So before I go into the hospital, I take a moment and I say to Hashem, listen, I just want to thank you for allowing me to come to the hospital to give them service, and not that I have to get service from them. Right? And Hashem, please, another thing, if I had to spend any time in hospitals, please let it be that I'm in the hospital now for the hour, 2, 3, whatever it is, the meetings are going on, so let that be my time that I have to spend in the hospital.
No, that's fine.
Yeah. So you can do I don't know. Listen, I don't know. But David's saying like something happened, something nice happened to him at the time. So at that time, when that thing happened, I think David's what you're saying is, wow, Hashem, what did I do to deserve this?
You were very quick to say
it's a matnas chinam. In other words, to realize it's a free gift.
That's good. That's fine.
Yeah, we're not bragging that I didn't break the leg. No. I don't think that's what David was saying. No.
But then aren't you suggesting that you're not worthy of this? I mean, Hashem gave it to you.
Yes.
You were born out of these millions of sperm that went swimming after that egg, and you won the race. You got there.
Yeah.
Thank God for it.
Thank you, God.
Yeah.
Why am I worthy of even being here? I mean,
yeah. So
you're
that's what
worthy,
we're trying
man.
to say. That's
You're
what
worthy.
that's
You're
what we're
good-
trying.
you're a good soul.
That's what we're trying to say here. That's exactly what we're trying to say. Okay, so let's just we'll go back. We'll finish now with Kinyan Torah. I know, listen, Mitzvah Hashem, we're going to do this for many years, and then we're going to go through the whole Sefer. Each time we'll just do a little piece each time, but then we'll move on, and then we'll get more accustomed to the Sefiras. And okay, so now here today's Kinyan Torah for Mamish today, okay, is Be'erech HaPayim. Be'erech HaPayim. What's Be'erech HaPayim? Slow to anger. Slow to anger. And I like to say, whenever I said, I like to say the story from Rav Gifter. Rav Gifter was the Telze Rosh Yeshiva. He was an amazing tzaddik. If you ever read anything about the Rosh Yeshiva, it was unbelievable. One of the things that I was so amazed with Rav Gifter was when it came to Erech HaPayim, he really took this on so much so that he never ever wanted to get angry. He never wanted to get angry. And I said this story before, and I'll keep saying because it's such a beautiful story. So he bought himself a certain hat. He had a funny hat, and he put this hat on in his attic. He put this hat in the attic. He lived in a house that had, it was a 3-story, and he had to go 4. Then the attic was on the 4th story on the top. And he said like this. He made achlata. He says a commitment that I'll never get angry unless I put on this hat. In other words, if I'm going to get angry, I have to go put on this hat. And before I put on his head, I'm not allowed to get angry. So he was in his house and things were going on. And he was getting a little fahitz, right? He was getting a little, oh, okay, 1 second, I got to go get my hat. And he would start walking up to this thing. And he would think, what am I doing? What am I doing? It was such a nice safety thing that he did for himself that he said, I have to put on that. So erech apayim, to be slow to anger, and you could do things, we can all do that, do things like that. Instead of just getting right away and flaring up, and because that's what we want to do, but just hold back. Remember, it's Hashem, it's just a test, and really, what am I doing? And really, it's all going to work out fine. And most of the time, if you don't get angry and you don't answer them back, and then a little later you discuss it, it all works out so well. So erech apayim, I think, is really it's a virtue. It's something so very, very important. Okay, so that was a Sefira for this, and now let's go back to Likutey Halachos. Do we have a little more time?
Yes.
You have to go. Okay, Ali. Okay.
You could,
Yeah. Okay, Be'ez Hashem. Okay, so we were middle. So now in Likutey Halachos, so we were middle of Hilchos Tefillin, and we're in Halacha Dalid, and we stopped at the end of Aleph because we had a time constraint with the other minyan. We had a time constraint, so we can.
today.
Oh, that's okay. No, the other day. We were middle of learning. It was going great.
But today they're upstairs. So
Right. It was like, I always think it's like Cinderella, right? The clock's turned, and they have to. Okay, we'll get past that too. We're going to get past that. That's going to work out good. Okay, so we were learning. This amazing idea of how to get rid of the crookedness in our hearts. We want to have simcha. Right? And if you want to have simcha, you really have to get rid of that crookedness in the heart. And we said, how do you get rid of the crookedness in the heart? So he brought the Gemara in Brachos, where the Gemara says that Hashem made only thunder in order to straighten out our hearts. Right? I mean, right? Really, thunder has no purpose other than to recognize, wow, Gvuras Hashem. To recognize the Gvura, Sheikachasai Ugvurasai Malayalam. That's the bracha we make when we hear thunder, right? Sheikachasai Ugvurasai Malayalam. Hashem fills the world with His power, right? When we recognize that thunder, it straightens out. It could be miyasher our heart from the crookedness that we have in there, right? Okay, so that's what we're learning. And then we gave the example. We gave the example that when we daven. Right, when we daven, we say the words, and we say the words out loud, right? And that's why it was so ironic that the other minyan, they say we make too much noise in our shir, right? But really, we're a small group and they're a big group, so why aren't they making more noise? But I'm working with Reb Shlomo on that. Don't worry, we're going to get there, and the guys are going to daven mamish with a vigor very soon. Be'ez Hashem, that they'll drown out anything that we could do over here, and okay.
We have to tell them to be a little more quiet so we can learn.
Okay, halavai. That'll be Be'ez Hashem. It's all good. It's all sweet. Baruch Hashem. Okay, so we said that when we daven, so we can actually affect that we cause a noise in our brains, right? In our brain, and our brain sends down the rain to our hearts, sends down the tipas to our heart, the brain. And that's when we daven, because again, the whole point, Rebbi Nachman says this all the time. What's davening with kavanah? Say the words, listen to the words that you're saying. Listen to yourself. Listen to the words. You're saying, Ashrei Yashvei Ve'es. Hear the words that you're saying. Listen to yourself. That's kavanah. Because why? Because when you listen to the words that you're actually saying, you cause your brain gets attached. You start to listen and you hear what you're saying. So that affects the brain. And then when it affects the brain, it causes the brain to send a message down to the heart. And that's also clearing up the heart, and it also straightens out the heart. Remember that? Remember that? So that's where we were. That's where we were up to. And then we were talking about this idea that when you have an argument between the tzaddikim, right? Sometimes we hear that there's right right here, Reb Mordechai is reading the book Through Fire and Water, and there's plenty of arguments going on in the thing there between the tzaddikim, right? Now we're not talking about arguments between ordinary people. We're talking about when there's great tzaddikim in Klal Yisrael, and they seem to have very different views, and they're going at each other, right? And so then when we do that, in other words, and why does Hashem do that? Is to test us to see if we're worthy to come closer to Him. Why? Because we learned that really, Elu ve'elu divrei elikim chayim, right? Anyway, like when you learn a Gemara, we said, right? Right, so if you have Chachamim saying this, whatever's going on there, not to say that one's right and one's wrong. They're all right. They're wrong. We paskin like this one, right? The outcome is like this one, but you can't say that the other guys were wrong. They're not wrong. They're all right. So that's what we have to do. And so when we hear there's a disagreement between the tzaddikim, we have to understand that not one is right and one's wrong, and I'm going to take sides with this one over that one. I'm not going to take sides with this one over that one. I'm not going to do that. You know, it was very nice to me because when I just took this trip, so we also stopped by the Yismach Moshe. Yismach Moshe. Do you know who the Yismach Moshe was? No, he was the first rabbi of Satmar. He was the Yismach Moshe. He was the founding rabbi, but he was a very, very special person where he understood where his neshama came from. He understood where his neshama came from. And there were different arguments going on in at that time also. Like we're learning over here, there were, tzaddikim always had their disagreements. And his grandson had asked him, "What do I do? What am I supposed to do here?" So he says, "I remember back when my neshama was in the time of Moshe Rabbeinu and Kairach."
Wow.
He was in touch with his neshama. He understood the journeys his neshama took. He says, "So you know what I did?" He said, he told his grandson, "I stayed in my tent and I didn't even go out till it all cleared. I didn't want to get involved. I didn't want to get involved because I'm not taking, because I knew that Kairach was a great person too. He was living at that time, right? So Kairach was great, and Moshe Rabbeinu, of course, was great. He didn't want to get involved. He says, let them work it out, and then I'll just stay in. I'll just lay low. I'll lay low till the smoke clears. Or is that the way you can say that, right? Till the smoke clears, then I'll come out and see what happened. But we could do the same thing whenever we hear there's an argument going on. Just don't take sides. Just realize that whatever's going on is going on. Okay, now. And now v'teider shetzarech l'shatev kivuras v'chasodim smoila b'yamina. Right, so that's where we're up to. It's the last words of Likutey Halachos Hilchos Tefillin Dalid letter Aleph. Okay, it's the end. V'teider shetzarech l'shatev. You have to take the midah. You have to take the midah of gvura v'chasodim. You have to take the left and put it together with the right. No, so what do you do? No, and that's why we said that when we give tzedakah, we give it with two hands also, because we always want to take the gvura, even though it doesn't want the gvura, the other side, the left doesn't want to give the tzedakah, right? Chetz is the thing, so you force it. Force the left to also give. You ever see that? Some people do that, they give the tzedakah with two hands, right? Chazal say you do it with one hand. You just give you can give with the right. But there's another way you can do it, is you take both hands to take the right and mix it with the left. The smoiler with the yamin, okay? Okay. Now, okay. Where are we up to now? Okay. Bechinas Yismach Hashem b'masav, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes a great joy with what he did. Yismach Yisrael ba'isav, and of course Hashem is very happy when we're doing when we're doing things, Hashem, it takes a lot of pride when we're doing things that we're learning with the Sefira project right over there. Okay. And then he ends off now, and then he says, Ukvar Shamati Beperish Mipi Rabbeinu Zal Shazeh HaMaimer Im Kama Mamorim Hasmuchim, right? Shenemru Ba'oisen Azmanim. So this Maimer that we're learning on, and all the other Mamorim of that time, Kulam Medabrim Yisai Kavanas Tefillin. So Reb Noson is right, teaching us over here that really Rebbi Nachman, all of his lessons in Likutey Moran, everything really are based on Hilchos Tefillin. No one ever knows. Most people don't have any idea about that. They have no idea. You know, like we were learning before, that each mitzvah is intertwined with all the other mitzvahs, right? We learned that concept, right? So here we're saying is that Rebbi Nachman drew from Tefillin, Hilchos Tefillin, and all the beauty of Tefillin, he drew from there to make all of his other lessons. That's not to saying that all the lessons don't include all the other mitzvahs also, because any one of the Torahs on the Likutey Moran can be attached to any mitzvah. But this is how precious Hilchos Tefillin was to Rabbi Nachman. Al Kain, Chayva Aleinu Lachtar Levakesh Limsoya Bay Ezer Remozim Bebechinas Tefillin. And therefore it's upon us to dig and to find what are these different hints, what are the beauty that we find in our tefillin, like the things that we learned so much already about, right? There's these beautiful concepts of what the tefillin are, right? The shin with the 3 heads and the shin with the 4 heads makes the 7, right? To remind me of Shabbos and all the different things, right? And then we learned about the little hairs on the tefillin that stick out, and those little hairs that stick out, those are like, that's my connection to the Rebbi Nachman. That's my, like the antennas. Yossi, you ever think of that? Yes, you know, on your rosh, you have those little hairs sticking out, right? Yeah. So those are the antennas to connect back to Shemayim. That's why you have little antennas sticking out. It's amazing, right? And then we said that we have the dalit on the what do you call it? We were on the back of the head, right? On the neck. So we said tefillin is really 3. We have 3 pairs. We have three pratim of tefillin. You have the rosh, the dalit, and then you have the yad. Did you know that? Tefillin are really 3. The rosh, the tefillin shel rosh, that goes rosh, which is connected to Rosh B'nai Yisrael, Rebbe, Rosh B'nai Yisrael, tefillin shel rosh. The tefillin on the dalit. The dalit on the tefillin is connected to my conversations that I have with my friend on a daily basis, right? Rebbe said there were 3 things that we have to do. Every day you talk to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you have to have a conversation with the tzaddikim, and you have to have a heartfelt conversation with another Jew, right? Why? Because every day, everyone gets a special Nekuda Kedosha that comes to them on that day, right? You know, yes, like when you get up every morning, you feel a little bit different. You never feel the same way 2 days in a row. Is that right? Is that fair to say? Sometimes we're so tired we don't pay attention to it. But if you think about it, you feel a little bit different. Something is a little bit different. You don't feel the same way each day, right? So that's that special thing that we're learning how to tap into that, to how to use that. So when to use that during the day, what can how can I benefit by that feeling that I have? Okay, and then when I have my conversation with another friend, so he has his Nekuda Kedesh came to him, and we can benefit from each other. He can benefit from me, I can benefit from him. And that's why it's so important that the Sichas Chaverim, every day you have conversation between friends each day. Right? And then we said that the next thing is that we have to talk to the Rebbi Nachman, right? Because again, we said when we talk to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem is so happy that we took the time to remember him. Right? So HaKadosh Baruch Hu then gives us back, and he reciprocates with us. Remember these nice things? Sure, yeah. Right? All these things that we learned. There's such amazing concepts. And there's so many more things. I'm just reviewing a few things that
I forgot how do you talk to the tzaddik every day? Just the same way you talk to Hashem? You say, I'm talking
we're reading the words of the tzaddikim, right?
Okay.
And then you're talking about the words of the tzaddikim, so that's having a conversation with the tzaddik.
Okay.
Now, if you can have a conversation with the tzaddik, that's great.
Yeah.
But if you can't, and you could take out, even if you take out, you could take out your Gemara, and you're reading the words of Amar Rabbi Akiva, Amar Rabbi Shimon, Amar Rabbi Meir, right? So you're saying, so they're telling you these things, and you're discussing it, and you're talking it over. That's somewhat of a conversation.
And their lips are moving in the grave.
There you go.
Okay.
Chag Sameach. They're starting now. They're starting.
It's upstairs. It's upstairs.
Okay. Ruben, take care. Take care. Okay, so maybe we'll just stop over here. Yes, you have to go also, right? So we finished now. Halacha Aleph Baruch Hashem, everybody. Kol Tuv.